As a result of the work of Portuguese explorers, especially the Jesuits, a fairly accurate map of Ethiopia was drawn up around 1680. At that time, Ethiopia was better known in Europe than any other country in tropical and southern Africa. And at the turn of the 17th to 18th centuries, the Frenchman Charles-Jacques Poncet definitively established that Ethiopia was connected to the Mediterranean Sea by the Blue Nile and the Nile. In 1699, Poncet accompanied several Jesuit missionaries to Ethiopia as a physician. From Lower Egypt, they ascended the Nile to the Blue Nile, then along its valley to the city of Sennar. From here, turning east, they ascended the Abyssinian Plateau and reached the city of Gondar. From Gondar, Poncet continued his journey alone to the Red Sea and reached the port of Massawa, thus crossing the Abyssinian Plateau from west to east. In 1768, the Scotsman James Bruce, a physician and passionate linguist who had studied Arabic and several other languages of northeastern Africa, left for Ethiopia on special missions. From the Nile Delta, he reached the Egyptian port of Qasr on the shores of the Red Sea, sailed around the northern shores of the sea, and, starting along the coast of Arabia, reached the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. From there, he headed for Massawa, along the African coast, and along the road well known to Europeans, reached Gondar. Bruce lived in Ethiopia until 1772, practicing medicine, visited the shores of Lake Tana, and again established that Abai, the Blue Nile, springs from this lake. He returned to Egypt by descending the Blue Nile Valley and the Nile, i.e., he repeated Poncet's route in the opposite direction. His book, Journeys to the Sources of the Nile, which appeared in 1790, made a strong impression in England. He considered the Blue Nile to be the main source of the Nile.